I am Naji and
I'm Richard.
Therapeutic home-based care. So it's essentially fostering children between the ages of 0 and 18, focusing on the therapeutic side of things to ensure that they grow up to be the best versions of themselves.
We have a higher level of engagement, so we do a lot with the appointments, with things like speech, OT, physio, behavioural, a lot more wraparound supports, a lot more appointments, a lot more meetings. I had a long history working with TCI and being able to understand kids' behaviours, and I've worked really closely with Naji as well. And I think just being together for 18 years is, he's been able to pick up on ways in which we engage and talk to young people. But also in regards to Life Without Barriers, we have received training. And training isn't just always a formal meeting room. It might actually be a little bit about advocacy and about how do we support this young person and what are the strategies and what are the considerations Life Without Barriers would need to consider when we're working with a kid that's got multiple complexities. So whether that's, as an example, our older one now, he's got NDIS, so being able to navigate around the speech, the OT, the physio, the behavioural, the mentoring, there are a lot of services, but being able to coordinate them, making sure they actually happen and getting our young one involved in it is critical, because having the services but no participation means no outcomes. It might look good on paper, but it doesn't work. For us, it's just making sure that we've got them available, and I think that's the big thing about THBC, is making sure that we are involved in it. So we're part of the case reviews, we're part of each step basically, and we've got a higher level of autonomy around making decisions, which makes it much easier.
I think when it comes to therapeutic home care as well, it's not one size fits all really. Each child is different, each child's trauma is different. They're all complex in their own way. As much as we appreciate the support and training provided by Life Without Barriers, it's more so about that relational bond that you also build with the case manager, with the managers at Life Without Barriers, that when you do call or message or email or whatever it might be, getting that response is what matters most, because it's trying to give the child a voice. So we want to make sure that when we're heard, it's for them. And we build our training every single day. Rich has been in the industry for 25 years, and there's times where I also see him sometimes even a little bit baffled. I get sometimes baffled because you learn something new every day. They teach us as much as we teach them, and it's just a matter of building around their behaviors, their complex trauma, and creating a training in our home for us, for them, and passing that information on to Life Without Barriers, because even if we come across something that they haven't, that one little bit of information that they can include can support thousands of carers out there.
Being therapeutic as such doesn't mean that you let the kids get away with stuff. When these two boys moved in, I actually gave them both the same spiel about, we respect each other, we are honest, we are transparent, that we don't talk bad about other people, we work on ourselves. With the younger one, when he came in, because he didn't want any services, so I actually sat with him and drew out two pathways. One is the road that he's on at the moment and the alternate. And what I knew about this kid was he always wanted to be in control. So for me, it was just about making sure that whatever I'm presenting, he's in control, he's a driver.
And he's included.
But I think being able to draw out what a life could actually look like and how he is in control of that, something just clicked.
It wasn't an overnight thing, and this is what the therapeutic home care is all about. It's not about shoving something down their throat and saying this is what you have to be or this is what you need to be. It's more about gradually assisting these children to see the better life that they can have.
Real conversations.
Correct, real conversations, including them in the conversation, asking them, what do you want to do with life? What do you love? Because these are some of the questions that people just completely just glaze over and not even worry about. And it's just trying to understand them and assisting them or guiding them into the steps in life that can get them there. Yeah, there's a lot of challenges. Every day is a challenge. Sometimes it's a challenge for these to get up in the morning. Sometimes it's a challenge for these kids to have a shower. Sometimes it's a challenge for these kids to even want to go to school, engage with people. We always strive to talk about the positives in every aspect, because the way we therapeutically care for these kids is to try and take the challenge and turn it into a positive, so we get them out of that mood, that obstacle, that barrier.
When kids don't have routines or structures, they get into mischief. This is what happens, right? And what we strategically have done is made sure that there is, say, example, between their speech and their behavioural and their OT and their mentoring, they're quite busy after school. But we also do a lot of fun things. So, our boys, they had Leanne Rhymes concert, they had Najwa Karam, which is a Lebanese singer. They've got Oprah coming up. They've also got Guy Sebastian
in April.
We plan things in advance because, you've got to have things to look forward to. And for the kids, it's no different. They need to feel alive. They need to be able to share experiences and stories. Most kids in care don't have a lot of experiences. Experiences changes everything. Our kids have a new story every month, and they're meaningful, real stories. They're not privileged. They don't feel that they're spoiled. They deserve it. Why wouldn't they have the same opportunities that we have as adults?
One challenging thing that I will mention with both the kids was visually seeing what they have planned. And we noticed that with both the children when they first came into our care. So we've now got a digital timetable that sits on our bookshelf that these boys get up every single morning. They have their chores on there, which they tick off. They can see what they've got on in the afternoon, whether it's OT or speech, and even all the fun things that we organise, whether it's a family event, Christmas Day, a shopping event, even something as small as just going to my mum's every Friday night for dinner. That's all placed on their timetable, on their calendar, so they're able to see what they have on for the day. And the challenging part, especially for Dennis when he first came into our care, the constant question after question after question, because he didn't know. He didn't know what to expect tomorrow and didn't know what to expect the following day. And the defiance when it came to speech therapy and OT and behavioural therapy for both children was because they were not involved in that process. Giving them the opportunity to sit down with the speech therapist, and if they did not click or understand how to interact with this particular person, which is what has happened, we always say you always give a second chance to your first. And when they give them that second chance, we will always take their advice and their challenge on board. And one of the biggest challenges for Dennis was he did not particularly get along with one of his therapists, and he gave them 3 chances and he just didn't click. And we kept having that defiance. I'm not doing it, I'm not doing it, I'm not doing it. And it was until we involved him into the care, into the decision of who his OT specialist was going to be, is when he thrived.
I found a way of being able to put a device that not only holds their appointments but has their list of chores and allowed them to be responsible in managing us. Every morning our young one, and both of them actually, but in particular the young one, comes downstairs and is vigilant. We'll go on there and we'll put the bins out, we'll take the rubbish, we'll vacuum the floor, and that's it. Chores done. We don't have to say anything. You know, it does 2 things. One, it allows them to feel that they're part of a family, so they're contributing, but it also skills them up. I mean, our young one loves cooking.
It's something that he loves doing. He loves every single day when we're in the kitchen cooking dinner, he will always just stand there and watch and ask, can I cut the onion? Can I cut the mushroom? Can I cut this? Teach me how to make the schnitzel. Teach me how to make this. And now, after 12 months, he makes the tacos on a Tuesday. He loves to do it. He knows how to do it. He cuts up all the vegetables, cooks the meat, and cuts it all perfectly. And it's just another proud moment. So, yeah.
Our burst with our younger one could last for 3 days. We are now at no more than about 5-10 minutes. The level of regulation has just meant that he can really think about what he wants and is able to move on to the next thing. We have moments in our life where we as adults, I mean, I can tell you the meetings I go to where there's things I'd like to say, but I can't. And it's no different for a child. You know, one of the funny moments actually is where I said something to the young one and they went, And I said, did you have something to say? And they said, yes, but I'm not going to keep it in my head. I said, that's really good. So just being able to practice sometimes that there's things that you want to say, but it's not the right time and it's not the right place. It's impressive that, you know, we've seen a transformation. I mean, a kid, 12 years old, can't read, can't write, wasn't seeing speech. There was none of his services were available. And he was so angry and didn't want to see anyone. Since being with us, and it's been just over a year now, he's got his behavioural specialist, he's got his speech, he's got his OT, and he's got his support worker. And those services are all working together, and we coordinate those. And I work really closely with the NDIS and with Life Without Barriers caseworker.
Our youngest, the way he articulates his sentences now, and sometimes his smart-ass comments, you cannot get upset because he articulates them so well, because he's worked so hard over the last 12 months with his speech therapist and his behavioural therapist and his OT to try and get that education that lacked for such a long time because he felt like nobody cared. And it's just that one little bit. It's being able to take that step back and listen and understand, because sometimes they can't articulate or express the true feeling or meaning behind their outburst. And it's just us as carers taking that step back, looking at that challenge from a very different perspective between the two of us, and then involving the young person in the decision. And you see a completely different side of things because it allows them to say, I was able to make that choice and someone actually listened to me. And I don't have to be angry. I don't have to challenge them. They're not making the decision for me. They're allowing me to make the decision for myself. But it's just a matter of taking that challenge, taking a step back and just realizing why is that challenge present and how can we
We humanize it.
yeah